Good morning. That's a little loud. So it's 10:31. We'll go ahead and get started. Everybody's got their agenda. Is that right? Okay, very good. We're just going to run through COVID a little bit. Spend a little time talking about what's happening with COVID right now. If you're watching the news, you'll know that Omicron has taken over as the dominant strain across the United States. And presently, the first case of Omicron was reported in Riverside County last week, and now it's swept through like a wildfire. And so it went from 1 to 60 in 0.2 seconds. And I spoke with somebody from Watermark yesterday, one of the head of clinical care across the company, and she said that they're seeing the Omicron just spreading throughout all of the Watermark communities, and that's probably happening everywhere. I spoke with my sister in Ohio a couple times this week actually, and it was Christmas. I was obligated to call, and her extended family has had several members come down with it. She said that throughout all of Ohio, it's just taking over. So it's following kind of a trajectory like we see with the flu, where it starts on the East Coast and it works its way to the West Coast. But it appears to be much more transmissible among vaccinated and unvaccinated people. And the only difference is that the unvaccinated people who are getting it are the only ones who are being hospitalized. And so if you're vaccinated and you're boosted, it's providing a good deal of coverage. You could still catch it, but you're getting a kind of a mild case. And right now, we're tracking 5 residents and 4 staff members in the assisted living wing who are presenting with symptoms that could be consistent with COVID, but could also be something else. And that's the other thing that I was told yesterday by throughout the other Watermark buildings is that the people that they're seeing positive are not presenting with fevers, which was always the number one thing we were looking for was fever. They're not having fever. They're having more GI type reactions, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, those kinds of things, which we did not see last year. Does everybody remember where we were last year at this time? Who wasn't here last year at this time? This time last year was when we got hit with COVID. And we're doing everything we can not to have that happen again this year. The real difference for us this year is in that we have a very high vaccination rate across the campus among residents and staff. The numbers are right there. You'll see that 98.5% of the associates are vaccinated. What that means is that there are 4 staff members who had waivers to not be vaccinated. So that's a very, very high number. 67% of the staff are currently boosted. And new California guidelines require all healthcare workers, which is us, to be fully boosted by February 1st. And so we'll see that booster number going up again into the high 90s by February 1st. For AL residents, 96.5 residents have been fully vaccinated. What that equates to is 1 person is not vaccinated among the residents there. And for IL residents, 96.3 of all the residents here have been fully vaccinated, meaning they've had both doses or a single dose of a single dose vaccine. And that equates to 6 people that are not vaccinated. For residents across the campus, and I wasn't able to break it out by location without counting individually, so I just did the total number. We've had 137 residents who have had their booster shot. And across the campus, that would be about 60%. So we would still encourage you to get a booster shot. We won't be doing any more clinics here with boosters, but CVS is still doing them, all the pharmacies are still doing them. So and if you need help with that, let us know, we'll help you set it up. Laura Lee's going to talk about mitigation strategies, the things you can do to protect yourself and protect the community. Laura Lee is an infectious disease specialist, by the way.
Okay, and I will tell you, I'm very proud to say, I've never had COVID, and the facility that I came from up in Santa Cruz was the only one in 3 counties that never had a single case. So I intend to keep that here too. We're very proactive with our associates. We talk to them on a daily basis about how to keep themselves safe in this Christmas season with the parties going on and the relatives visiting and all of that. We've been very careful about their risk. And I would ask the same of you. One of the people in isolation actually was out to a dinner and got exposed that way. So I know it's hard to not be with families and to to kind of keep it down again this year. But if you are with people, hopefully people that are vaccinated, always with the mask, preferably outside. I know it's cold out there right now. Social distancing, of course, 6 feet. And I would ask that anybody, as Ron said, one of the symptoms seems to be kind of gastrointestinal upset this year. So I would ask that anybody who has any symptoms report them promptly so that we can get you tested and keep you safe and keep your neighbors safe too. And we're of course cleaning a number of times a day, disinfecting. We're just doing everything we can to keep you all safe. Does anybody have any questions?
Do you have tests?
Yes, we do. We will test you.
I can speak up. Does the test for Omicron, is that the same as the one for the COVID? And does it show results?
It is, and it will show. It's got the same DNA, RNA.
I understand there are several different tests. Some take a week to get results, and others take a much shorter time.
Our lab is very good. We had a bit of a glitch last week because of the weather and because of the holidays, but we're getting our results back sometimes even the next day. And that's the good PCR test, where the rapid tests are not as reliable and are more likely to show a false negative if you are positive.
If someone tests positive, you're saying they do test for which variant?
No, we're not testing for variant, and at this point it doesn't really matter. If you've got it, you've got it. If it's COVID, it's COVID. It's transmissible. You're contagious. Our lab is not. We're not asking for them to identify which variant it is. Anybody else?
Okay.
Okay, just a couple other things that we're doing that we've always continued to do, but we've stepped it up another level, is the frequent cleaning and sanitation of high-touch areas throughout the community, handrails, doorknobs, toilet flushers, phones, things like that. If you watch whenever the staff leave the front desk, the new person coming on cleans that area for themselves. And then when the person returns like from break or something, then they clean between it. The nurses do the same thing at the nursing stations. They wait staff each time they go in and out of the kitchen door. They sanitize their hands. There's a sanitation station inside the door. So all of those kinds of things. In between the tables, they're using a rapid hydrogen peroxide cleaner, which cleans COVID or kills COVID within 45 seconds of contact. So they're using that to clean the high-touch areas whenever you leave a table, things like that in the dining room. So we don't have any plans right now to shut down those types of dining, communal dining services, things like that. But we are asking everybody to use good common sense. And we've been doing this now for going on a year and a half. We all know what we need to do when we're before you get in the elevator. Use the sanitizing station at the elevators. When you're out at the market or out with friends, using good things that we all know we need to do. And indoors now we need to go back to masking unless you're at dining, but all other activities should use a mask again until we get through the next couple months. Okay. We at the associate appreciation celebration, which was very nice. Thank you all for that. It was the first time I had seen that many people's noses. And there are some staff members here who have never seen their face. They've been hired since COVID, and I was like, oh, that's what you look like, So it's interesting how we've gotten used to this, and then it was like, oh my gosh, that's not at all what I thought you looked like. So Molly's going to give you an update on where we are in sales and some of our upcoming sales activities.
Good morning. We are currently at 143 financially occupied apartments. I do have 3 apartments, 2 casitas and 1 apartment on notice. One of the units on notice has already been deposited on, so then that'll have a mid-March move-in. I do want to run down all the areas of the community just kind of as an end of the year wrap-up, if you will. In assisted living right now, we have 32 occupied units, and we do have 1 deposit for a mid-January move-in. As of today in skilled nursing, we are at 27, and we do have a couple pending admissions, waiting on them to be discharged from the hospital. A little fun fact for that, on January 1st, we had 9 in skilled nursing. So we've seen a huge growth there, which is great. Starting January 1st of 2021, we were at 141 occupied independent living apartments. So we did have a small amount of growth, which is nice. We were at 25 assisted living occupied units, and then again, 9 in skilled nursing. So we did see growth throughout all 3 levels of care within the community. We are hoping to grow the independent living census to end, so Q4, or a year from right now, to 148. I understand that doesn't sound like a huge amount of growth if we're at 143 right now, but we do take into account an average of 2 move-outs per month, so that's how we average that. Our goals, obviously, my number 1 goal always for sales and marketing is to grow census across the board. In independent living, again, the growth would be to move us to 148 by the end of next year. As we're, I know we just talked about COVID, but as we're moving through it, myself and the other members of the sales team are going to have a greater opportunity to get out in front of people, other assisted livings or other skilled nursings, and promote our community inside doctors' offices, senior centers, other opportunities to do more outreach opposed to just waiting for people to come to us. So that's going to be a really big focus for us, again, in all 3 levels of care. We were approached by the Sun City Financial Club to come do a presentation for them in the early part of next year. So we're excited about those opportunities to get out and promote the community. I would like to include this, we did pay 2 resident referrals this year. I know that's down a little bit from years past. And just a quick overview, our resident referral program is an opportunity to earn a little bit of extra money. If you refer a resident who has never inquired with us before or been to the community before, and you're their referral source, if they do move into the community and you're noted as the original referral source, you are eligible to get a $2,500 check for that as a thank you from us. So we'll be putting out more information about that as we go through next year. Any questions for me?
Molly, it seems like we're having a lot of tours.
Uh-huh.
If they're not coming here, where are they going?
I think it is a matter of the question really is where are the people who are touring at in their stage of making a decision. As all of you know, it's probably very rare to come to a tour and deposit the next day. There's a lot of research involved in it for folks. So I've done quite a few tours and it's, we're starting our process and we're 3 to 5 years out. We're looking here, but we're also going to look in, I'm pulling a state, we're going to look in Washington because that's where we have family. So we do a lot of tours that are people who are in very, very different stages. We do tours where it's maybe their children think it's a good idea to look at, but they're not super interested in the community right now. We do have folks who decide that other communities are for maybe a better fit for them. Sometimes we find that out. Sometimes they just stop calling us back, stop answering our phone calls. So I'm never going to know 100% where everyone is going. Yes?
Molly, how many casitas are available now?
We have a total of 4 2-bedroom casitas and then 2 1-bedroom casitas that are available. Again, I said we do have 3 units on notice, 2 of which are casitas. So that number will flux when those folks vacate their units. Any other questions for me? Yes, Mr. Burrows?
Regarding the casitas, which are in 500s and which are in 600s?
I have 1 1-bedroom in each 500 and 600. I have 2 open, 100% open units in 600, 2 in each area, and I have 1 on notice in each area. So it's a little bit of a split. Well, thank you very much, and as always, a special thank you from the sales and marketing team to everybody who participates in the ambassador program. It means a lot to us that you take that little bit of extra time and effort, because we know it's a big job to welcome folks and show them around, so we do appreciate that. So thank you to our ambassadors. Yes?
You have on your update list photo directory.
I'm getting to that. You're not done with me yet. So back in, and this was a great suggestion from our ambassador committee that we've been working on. It is a directory that I promised I would give out to everybody, and then it will also in addition be included in the move-in binders. It has a little photo and a little blurb about all the key positions. So it's going to be all your directors, the front desk personnel, the IL wellness nurses, so Helen, Wylon, and Rebecca. I think that's a very important person for everybody to be aware of. So we are fine-tuning that, waiting for 1 or 2 more bios, and then we're going to do a makeup photo session so we have some continuity there, and that will be out. But my goal, it's going to be done by mid-January, and again, we will get that out to all the residents. So you have a copy of it, and then again, it will be included with all new move-ins. And if anybody would like to see what it looks at from the up close and personal, I have it here, so just come and see me after the meeting, you can take a peek at it.
out here in the,
It's my understanding that they were updated. I know I bought a whole bunch of name tags. So we did do a big update recently. Again, it is voluntary, so not everybody chooses to participate in that.
well, you are working on it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I looked at it the other day. There's quite a few updates. I would guess now if your photo's not there, it's probably because you don't want it there. That would be my guess. Yes.
Molly, Marjorie and I did update
Mm-hmm.
the gallery wall with, I think, 12 or
Yeah, it was a big update, yes.
It was a big update. We do still have some that are outstanding. Now,
Mhm.
like you said, some are choosing not to have their photo there.
Mm-hmm.
So Marjorie and I have decided that after maybe, I think Charles Hannah moves in on around the 15th, 19th. Once he moves in, maybe the last part of January, she and I will schedule another session.
Mhm.
In addition, if any resident just wants a retake,
Okay,
we will certainly do that too.
perfect. Or if anybody changes their mind and would like to be included where they previously did not. So, all right, well, thank you.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
It's nice to see everybody. First, I want to say a quick thank you from the associates for the generous gift you all gave them. They were very appreciative of that, and they've said that to me. Hopefully, they've communicated that to you, and it was also wonderful that you could join us for our celebration outside. And I know they enjoyed actually being able to see the people that were giving them their gift. It was, I think it was really a great event, and hopefully we'll continue to do it that way again. As you know, if you're out in the community, if you read the news, staffing continues to be a struggle. So dining especially is getting hard hit. We're trying our best. We've initiated some sign-on bonuses, some employee referral bonuses. We will be having a job fair with a tentative date of the 13th. So we hope to invite people in, let them see what a great community we have, and hopefully we can go from there. Assisted living, we also are having some issues. So in any care staff right now is also difficult to find. I was going to talk about the vaccine booster, but Ron did that. And anything else? Any other questions anybody has for me about anything to do with associates? I have one new nurse starting any minute now. She should be walking in the door. She may actually be waiting for me to do her orientation today. Yes.
When will you do another demonstration for us?
Well, that's interesting you should ask that. I am planning on doing a monthly, I don't want to call it a class, but just a gathering to talk about coffee. So I think we're going to talk, Vanessa and I are working on a time. We can do anything related to coffee. We can do how to make an order at a Starbucks, what does all that stuff mean, to tasting coffees from different parts of the world, different ways to brew it. That's kind of my plan. I want to do it once a month. Maybe start off with 6 months, but if we enjoy it, we can talk coffee all year. But yeah, and if there's anything you want me to do, I had a really great time. I don't know. I did a LEFSA demonstration for those of you who didn't hear that, and it was really fun, and we had a good turnout. So hopefully, yeah, that's my plan, is to do coffee, maybe move on to something else. Maybe we can do tea, maybe we can do chocolate, maybe we can do anything. So I'm open for anything if you guys want. Chocolate, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we'll have a class on chocolate. I'm not a big chocolate eater, so I'd have to do some research, but I'm all about that. Any other questions?
You did an outstanding job with the LAFSA?
LAFSA.
LAFSA?
Yep.
Okay, whatever.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I had a good assistant, let me just say that.
Yes, you did, and we really enjoyed it. You do an
Good.
excellent job.
Oh, thank you. Could you put that on my evaluation? I'm taking note of that. And I'll pay you later.
There was no Lincolnberry jam, nope.
No. As I've tried to explain, Ron says lingonberry jam, but lingonberries are Swedish and we will not put them on our Norwegian lefse. Absolutely not. You have to go somewhere else for that. Any other questions? Anything I can do? All right.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I'm getting ready for our big New Year's Eve party on Friday, which will be lots of fun. We are taking some precautions for it. We're going to space tables accordingly. We're going to keep the entertainment in a good viewpoint, but still 6 feet away from the residents who are attending. But it'll be a very nice night. I'm going through the list. If by chance you signed up and now are thinking you may not come, please let me know, because I still have quite a few people on a waiting list. So if you know you're not going to make it, please let me know. As far as the new year goes, we have some great Watermark U classes coming up. And for those who are not very familiar with Watermark U, I'm going to do a whole class on what it is, what the thought process behind it is, what we've done in the past, what we're going to do in the future with that. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up, and I'm just very happy to be able to end the year on a good note and move forward in a positive way with programming. We're also going to vamp up our Carlotta Cares, and right now we're working on a quilt with Carlotta Cares that a handful of residents are helping us with. And also, last week we did the drawing for the quilts, and Mrs. Oviatt, Mrs. Styles, Mr. Winery, sorry, I couldn't read the writing, and Molly all won. All won a quilt, so that was really great. Our legacy tree, we've added a few more ornaments to it, so there's still time. If you'd like one for next year, let me know. Our goal is to grow that every year and just keep adding more and more ornaments to it. So we're very proud of that as well. Any questions or comments for community life?
Yeah. When would the calendars be available?
I'm putting them out today in your box.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Which calendars?
The activity calendar for January?
No, the ones, the Bonnie.
Oh,
Bonnie calendar.
the Bonnie calendars. Well, there's still time if you'd like a autograph one, but then we're thinking of sometime early January to put the other ones out for those who would like one. Mrs. Johnson?
Will we be able to gather and meet new neighbors again this year, or next year? You know, we used to gather and they'd be at a table and we would meet them all.
Oh, a resident welcome, yes. I am working on a modified version of that, so we can have that, get that going again, so we can meet our neighbors, yes. Yes. Okay, please note that this Saturday is New Year's Day, so there will be no transportation that day, so please take a note of that. Anything else? Okay, great, thank you.
And I'll be standing in for Nestor. Just because we heard some people didn't know, the north gate is been repaired, been replaced. All the parts of it are new.
Thank you.
And it's equipped now with an emergency entrance strobe. So when emergency vehicles come up to it, they have a strobe light that makes it open automatically. So as we replace the other gate openers, we're required to put that on them. So. Nestor is not here right now because he's out preparing for the rain that's coming. Between now and Friday, we're supposed to get a tremendous rainstorm, and so he's checking all the casita roofs to make sure nothing has blown up and is obscuring the drains. And I really wanted him to be here to make an announcement. And Nestor is going to be stepping down from his position and staying on with us as a maintenance technician. And it's his choice to do that. He feels that's really where his passion is. He likes being out with everybody and doing the work and the hands-on work. And you've seen his handiwork in the special things he does, like building the dog park and his tequila truck and all those different things that he's done. That's really where his passion lies. We have hired a new maintenance director. His name is Luis Salazar, and he is starting next week. Right, Lori?
What? I'm sorry.
Luis is starting next week?
Yes,
Yes.
the 4th.
He is starting on the 4th. He'll be going through very intensive onboarding. So he will not be taking over the department probably for about 30 days. We'll have him, Nestor has agreed to stay on and help with that. He'll show him, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that gets done that the maintenance director is responsible for. And so Nestor will be training him in those sorts of things. We will get him out in front of you so you can meet him. And certainly he'll attend the upcoming Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting and all those things. So we're looking forward to working with him. He has a nice background in environmental services and management and in regulatory compliance things. He's OSHA certified and different things like that. So I'm excited for you to meet him. And yeah, I heard somebody say it was amazing we could find somebody. Here, we had more people apply for that position than we've had apply for anything else. It was interesting. I mean, and many of them were at no way considered qualified. A lot of people applied. And but there was probably 12 solid candidates in there. And narrowing them down was a challenge. So I think we've gotten the best of the best there.
Does he have experience in communities like ours?
He has worked in communities like ours. A lot of his concentration has been in healthcare. And but I'll let him share what his background is with you when he comes on board. All right. And then I will also be Jenny. And so for the wellness programs, we are still hiring for the 24-hour nurses across the wellness spectrum. Helen and Waiwan are currently there, but we still need to hire a couple more to be able to get the 24-hour coverage. And one of the things Jenny was working on and has completed is the consolidated list of wellness services. You can see it at a glance. We have copies for you to take with you when you leave. If you have questions about that after you've reviewed it, let me know and I'll answer them as best I can or refer you to Craig. And with that, I have a couple questions. Molly, are you able to modify that photo on the top there? Like maybe crop it right here?
Just here.
Yeah, right here. That'd be good. And Lori, is it true that you hired a number of new servers? I heard there were a bunch of new servers in the dining room. I appreciate everybody's comments on my skill and technique improving along the way. Thank you.
They're familiar faces.
All right, with that, we'll give it to Craig.
Normally I just sit up here looking incredibly handsome, but he's asking me what comment, what? This is the time of year that we're just past Christmas, heading into New Year's, and that means rate increase notification time. So I'm going to stand behind Ron while I say this. The rate increase, which will come into effect March 1st, will be 5%. Okay. Keep in mind your cost of living adjustment from Social Security this year coming up is 5.9%. So you got a whole 0.9% to go wild on. So enjoy that. In terms of what we need to do for meetings, there will be a posting of the meeting notification by the 12th of January. We will have the official meeting on the 26th of January, and at that point we'll pass out the numbers, the reasonings, income, expenses, all that good stuff, and that'll be on January 26th, which will be basically the next FYI meeting. Anybody with any questions in the meantime?
Do you know when the percentage for healthcare on our rent will be available?
The letter, actually, I'll have the letters that will be going out with your January statement, so you'll see that then. Okay.
Okay, I'll be Jose. So, everybody knows that Jose's been out on medical leave. Everybody knew that? He was scheduled to come back earlier this month, and then it got extended, and then it got extended again. So he's out until
17th.
the 17th of January. And many of you have expressed concern for Becky's well-being, and Becky appreciates that. I appreciate that. Becky and I have an understanding that when she, feels she needs the time off, it's there. And Craig will step in and cover for her. And
hey, I did a pretty good job last night.
And but in the meantime, we're all there pitching in to get through it. I'm having a good time doing that. I can't speak for everybody else, but I haven't heard them complain about it. So I'm enjoying being there, being out in front of people, and I think they are too. So we'll get through there. Some of the comments that came up that we talked about were the staff wearing name tags in the dining room. And everybody that works here is required to wear a name tag. Should have the gold name tag. I know they don't. Lori's working on making sure they all have them. We've heard every excuse in the book. I lost the magnet. I forgot it in my car. I did this. I did that. So we're getting back to you have to have them. But all those excuses aside, everybody has to be wearing the printed paper tag that's issued by the AccuShield when we come to work. We all sign in. It shows the time we signed in and that we were cleared of, screened to work that day. So everybody should have that on, and we're all going around looking for that now all the time to make sure that everybody is doing this. All the supervisors are required to make sure their staff have done it, and so we're working on that. The POS system still remains a thorn in my side. I can't get the company to get it working the way it's supposed to work. I'm blaming Craig. And so Craig's getting blamed for everything there. But we're working with them to try and get the bugs worked out. Currently, there's an internet connectivity issue that they say is on our end, and then our IT department says it's their end. So, it's like the scarecrow, it's that way. Receipts that ties into getting receipts. You're not getting receipts at meals, but nobody's going to get charged for extra meals, I guarantee it. And we're, as somebody else pointed out, we're literally leaving a lot of money on the table. So we're working that out. Again, I blame Craig. And then saving the best for last.
I already won.
Okay, saving the second best for last. And they're out of order, so I'll let it wait. The soup and salad. Soup and salad, that's the best. The special soup and the special salads for each night are going to be printed on the menu, so you know what they are. Working in the dining room, it gives you a lot of insight. And when I've gone to the tables and asked to take your order, and they ask what the special soup is, and I go, oh, I don't know, I have to go check. So we'll get those put on the menu so everybody knows what they are. And then there will be a sign at the hostess stand too that shows what those are that night. And then now the best for last. So the long-awaited opening of CC's. I am committing to you that we will have CC's open by the end of January. Could be the very last day of January. Could be the very last minute of the last hour of January, but we'll have it open in January. And the challenge is getting it staffed and being able to staff it. But what we've learned is that we have a lot of able-bodied people who can step in and help. So we do definitely want to get it open. Molly wants it open from a sales perspective and an option, that kind of optic. And I know all of you want it open from a social standpoint and from to be able to have variety in your meal plan. So we will be opening it in January.
This year.
2023.
Oh, they're on to me. No, next month. Yes.
Is Miguel going to be the main cook, chef, whatever?
Miguel will move back over to Cece's.
Breakfast and lunch?
Breakfast and lunch. We may change the way that Cece's operates a little bit, but we'll let you know ahead of time. Breakfast might be a takeout, a call and order, a takeout, but lunch will definitely be what lunch used to be. So, okay. Any other questions? All right, Happy New Year. Oh, wait a minute, there's a couple questions.
What is the actual status right now of the servers in the dining room? Do we have servers?
Yeah, we have 5 openings though.
We have servers. There are a number of servers that have been hired recently, but there are still 5 open positions. And so we're actively recruiting for those. We've had a couple people come work one day and say, no, I don't want to work here. That's not what I thought it was going to be. I'm like, what did you think it was going to be? So we're still actively recruiting to get them in here. And like Lori said, we've done some things to try and make it more attractive. They have a sign-on bonus. There's a longevity bonus that is kind of a quarterly basis. If they're here, they get paid a bonus. And so different things like that to try and make it more competitive against restaurants where they get tips.
And if you've eaten out lately, you'll know that
You'll see in every single restaurant help wanted signs.
waits are a long time. You'll wait forever for your food and for everything because they're in the same boat. So, I ordered takeout recently. We had to wait an hour. When I called, they said it'll be an hour until we can get our food, and then it wasn't even ready. So, unfortunately it's everywhere. And, we're working.
We are seeing though, I mean, it is a little bit of a light at the tunnel. In the last couple of months, I would say we've seen some increased traffic in response to our employment ads. So more people are re-entering the workforce again. But with that, there's a plethora of jobs and positions out there. I have a friend who was I don't know exactly what his job was, but he was the head of the IT department for Guthrie Ranker. Guthrie Ranker used to be right over here on the corner. And about 3 years ago, they moved their headquarters out to El Segundo because Mr. Ranker's wife didn't like living in the desert. So they moved the whole company out there because she didn't like being here. And earlier this month, they eliminated his position. And his position was really, really specialized. I thought it's going to be very tough for him to get a job. He applied to Peloton and now works from home, doubled his salary. And, it's crazy. So it's, they're really, if you want to be in the job market, the jobs are all there. So anyway. All right, any other questions? Shauna, you had one?
Yeah. I got a problem in the library. There was several shelves that had room. So now people are piling their games and their cards in this space where I have no more room to put books. So there is a solution, very careful. If you open up some of those drawers on the bottom, they are filled with junk. The junk can be thrown away and they can pile their games and cards in there.
Is that the paperback library?
Paperback.
Okay.
And on the other end, there's those things you put in there. There's all kinds of shelves. So why can't they use those shelves instead of my bookshelf? It's a very good question and easily solved.
You heard it here. Vanessa's going to take care of that. That's really, Vanessa should be, we'll be monitoring that and take care of it, reorganizing what we have up there. One of the things she's going to be working on is reorganizing all the craft supplies and things that are in there. There's tons and tons of card making supplies and stamping materials, things like that is available for anybody to use. But it's right now you can't make sense of it. So Vanessa's going to be organizing that and making it available for everybody. So, okay. And I saw one more, Walter.
What's the status on replacing the trees in the interior of the center casitas? I was under the impression that they were going to replace the 2 trees that are missing.
We did walk with Umberto, and they did do a tree. I know there was one tree that was recently replaced, but I'll follow up with him and find out when we're doing the others. He was going to thin down one of the trees, and then we weren't necessarily going to replace with trees. They were going to do shrubbery. They needed the shrubbery for the roots to maintain the integrity of the slopes. But we've had a number of complaints about trees in the courtyards obstructing views, so we were looking at alternatives to that. So it may not be a tree that goes back in, but it'll be, some decorative bush. Yes, Chuck.
All the things we've had to do during this pandemic have been a pain. But I want to thank you so much for keeping us all healthy, seeing that the rules made and the rules were kept, because it's been fantastic.
I heard you. Bill said he's going to cover Chuck's rent. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. It definitely has been nothing that we could have ever prepared for or ever thought we would live through in our lifetimes. And it has been a team effort, everybody here. I know I wrote my holiday letter this year. I didn't do one last year because I was otherwise engaged in bed. And so it was kind of a canting everything that had happened in these last couple of years. And when you're so deep in it, it's hard to really see where you are. But looking back on it and looking at the guidance that was provided to us by Watermark. There were days where I was just, hanging by a thread and was really standing on the shoulders of giants here who carried us through it. So it has been a huge burden, but it was also a wonderful opportunity to see, everybody pulling together, and you included, all of you included in getting us to where we are. As far as, the impact on communities, I think we have come through very well compared to others, and some of that was just, blind luck, dumb luck. Other is just, everybody kind of rowing in the same direction to get us there. So with that, I think we'll end the meeting. Thank you very much. And Happy New Year. And 2022 is going to be a game changer for us. So.